So around the time that I was finishing up work on Bloodborne's DLC, the prototyping for Sekiro was beginning to take place. We weren't even sure of the gameplay or what shape it was going to take at that point. But everyone was asked to provide their ideas for a game world and just provide these images to serve as a base. And I drew this image, and looking back at it now, it was just one image, but I feel that it encapsulated that world. That speaks a lot to my memories of what Sekiro is. Previously, I worked on Bloodborne and the Bloodborne DLC. When designing those worlds, it was very much a case of digging deeper and deeper and going darker and darker. But with this game, something that I wanted to achieve was using both light and dark, kind of simultaneously. The emotions that come with light and dark.
This time, we're using a lot of elements of Japanese taste. The action kind of variety, the pace of the action is a lot higher than our previous titles. And also there's a very wide variety of locations, each with their own kind of vibrant color palette, such as the beautiful Japanese mountains and such. So we have to take care and pay attention to a lot of different areas.
I've been involved with a lot of fantasy titles, obviously what our studio is known for. So to create something that's set in an authentic Japanese setting was really exciting and really refreshing. Of course it means I get to think of a lot of new ideas and make new creations myself, but also being part of this collaborative process and this team structure, I get these ideas and inspirations from the team as well. It's just a whole brand new experience.
So one of the things that was difficult or surprising about working on the project was that through working with Activision, we got a lot of support about how we fleshed out this new world. And so we were kind of surprised by the things that we were capable of from, with their help and advice. So the player has to grab ledges or kind of interact with the map in ways that they haven't done in previous games. So making that look good and making it look tangible and feel realistic was definitely something that it was a new challenge that we haven't had to think about before. So yeah, I learned a lot from that experience.
One thing that I was particularly impressed by in making the world of Sekiro, we had to research a lot of Japanese architecture from the time. I was blown away by how amazing this architecture was and the integrity of these structures. We actually had these real blueprints that were used at the time. We researched these, and when you look at them, I was just staggered and moved by just how intricate they were and how brilliant they were. Even as a Japanese native who was born and bred here, I saw again something that I'd never even considered as part of the design process. So of course, as with previous titles, we have design orders or concepts and themes from Miyazaki that we use to develop our ideas. It was the same with this game, but we had to fit those ideas within the existing framework in some way. So how they might fit into that medieval blueprint of Japan, that was at the same time extremely challenging, but a lot of fun.
So yeah, actually, along with the artists, we feel like approaching this world is definitely fresh. It's a new color palette, there's a new kind of visual range. We have to think about how we best technically incorporate their vision. So for us, it gives us a fresh feel as well. And also this time with Sekiro, we're using HDR display configuration, so that allows us an even higher level of detail. So a few things we've been paying attention to with this project, Sekiro. Obviously we've used fog in our games before, but this time we want to give this presentation of the light coming through the fog and how that affects the color palette and the game environment. The player can interact with the water surface, they're able to swim. So we need to make sure the water reflections and ripples and waves are looking good, and also the kind of a more realistic sense of vegetation and representing Japanese vegetation, and again player and enemy interaction with it. Particularly, speaking of Japan, we have bamboo trees, a lot of which you can bump into and cut down with your sword. So yeah, we're trying to add a higher sense of realism when we're approaching these aspects of the environment. Yeah, actually, in making these maps, even from an engineer standpoint, there's a lot more vibrancy, there's a lot more color that we're used to in creating these titles, and there's obviously these elements of beauty we haven't really rendered in this way before. So when I see that and experience that in a game, it feels not only refreshing, but it's kind of soothing as well.
As a map designer, one thing that I hope that the player does is just, while they're progressing through this world, they just occasionally stop and look at the world around them. And hopefully they'll find there's a lot of detail in places they didn't expect, a lot of richness to these environments. I've been really particular about how we built these worlds, and we hope that while there is the fun of playing through the game, we hope that there's this other element of enjoyment as well.
So Sekiro represents a new undertaking not only for the technical department but for From as well. You know, it's a brand new game, a brand new IP and a brand new genre for us. So this has come with its own unique challenges and interesting points. So I hope that once the user gets it in their hands, they can kind of appreciate the work that we've done.
While making Sekiro, I was really impressed by the number of elements that were really brand new. There was a lot of novelty to this project that I haven't really experienced in working with artwork or in From software before. It just introduced a lot of new elements I was able to incorporate into my artwork and design. It's been very refreshing.